Welcome to another session of Stelmo's Rants and Raves. I spent 6 years in the United States Army, and as a result of my service, I am qualified for and do receive my health care from the Department of Veteran Affairs. I'm going to discuss here and there on my channel some of the problems that I have with the VA. And because many of these problems, in my mind, they're inexcusable. Now, before I hear from any haters, let me be clear. The majority of frontline medical providers in the VA are great. They do a good job. No complaints there. The majority of my complaints center around the administrative side of the VA. And like I said, I'm going to discuss some of these issues on my channel. And I certainly would like to hear from any other veterans or any other people out there who know veterans or know some of the bad experiences that veterans have experienced. Feel free to jot a note down below, and maybe I can incorporate some that information into my channel. We'll have to wait and see. Today, I want to talk about, and I don't even know how to describe this because it's, well, let me start out by saying this. I was in the Army. I suspect the other branches are very similar when it comes to something called the chain of command. And in my 6 years, this was something you heard about all the time. Know who your chain of command is, know how to use the chain of command. And so you would think that when you have all these veterans that know so much about the chain of command, that the VA might have a likewise chain of command. And perhaps they do in other areas. I'm only experienced where I get my health care. The hospital, VA hospital that I fall under is Bay Pines in Bay Pines, Florida. That's in Pinellas County. I get most of my care from the Lee County VA outpatient clinic. And I had a problem, and it doesn't really matter what the problem was, but I went to the patient advocate, and that started a nightmare that took me several months to finally get an answer. And the problem was, in the VA, you have your patient advocate. But once you are done with the patient advocate, the chain of command stops. Now, there is, at Bay Pines, we fall under what is called Vision 8, which is the next administrative level. That building is a fortress. Veterans aren't allowed in there. There's no way that a veteran can contact anybody in Vision 8. And one of the questions that I kept asking is, what happens when the problem is the patient advocate? And nobody was willing to answer this question. But there is, when you go to the patient advocate, if they're unable to help you, that's apparently, as far as the VA is concerned, they don't want to hear anything anymore from you. And I find that seriously problematic, because the chain of command should be spelled out and all veterans should know where they go. Now, what I did is I typed up a letter with my complaints, and I decided I was going to send it to the director, and I was going to hand deliver it. And let me tell you what, this takes almost an act of Congress to be able to get the director's office to accept the correspondence. And, one woman, she was refusing to help me in the least. And so what I was doing was I was taking photographs so that I have proof. Well, here's the photographs. I was there. And so she asked me, "What are you doing?" And I explained to her. So once I explained to her, that's when she then became receptive to accepting this letter on behalf of the director. But what did the director do? He gave the letter back to the patient advocate. So I was back to square one. The actual area that was problematic wasn't willing or able to fix their mistakes. And I certainly believe that it's something that other veterans are going to experience problems with. But the fact that the VA does not have a well-defined chain of command, I just find this bonkers. I mean, it's really, really, really hard to comprehend. But I think, okay, the VA was really, really bad up until Trump's first term. And Trump really worked miracles in his first term in changing the VA around a lot. But then 4 years of Biden, they start reverting back to all of the problems that were there during Trump's first term. And now that Jeff Collins is the secretary, I mean, I liked Jeff Collins as a member of the House of Representatives, but I'm not exactly sure what he's doing in the VA. I don't hear much. They don't tell us too much of anything. In fact, here's another problem I had, and this is bizarre. Now, I said I get most of my care from the Lee County VA outpatient clinic. And ever since this outpatient clinic opened, and it was built to replace the facility that had been in Fort Myers. But anyway, ever since the facility opened, they always had problems with their phone system. And so I know myself and many other veterans, what we used to have to do is call the main number at Bay Pines and then put in the extension in Lee County that we wanted to go to, and that's how we got to our party. Well, the VA decided to change their phone system, and they didn't tell anybody about it. And when they changed their phone system, you could no longer call the main number and get any of the other outpatient clinics. You would have to dial their numbers and then their extension number. So this was a radical change. And you would think that they might tell the veterans, hey, look, this is going to be a problem. I spoke with the operator. I really felt sorry for the operator because she was saying she's inundated with calls. People are upset, and rightfully so. So I'm not just a complainer. I like to go out there and try to fix things. So I called the director's office, and amazingly, they didn't even know that there was a change to the phone system. So you see, this is problematic. And the veterans are they find out changes through having to live through them. Nobody tells them anything. They have no advance notice. They just find out about the changes as they come along. And I just think that that's not the way it should be. And but there are a lot of problems, I believe, with the administrative side of the VA. And they need to, if they're going to have these visits, if they're going to have all of these high-paid executives in there, the Lord only knows how many of them there are. At Bay Pines now, at the hospital, at Bay Pines, the administration building is huge. I don't know how many people work in there, but seems to me the VA has far too many administrators and not enough, perhaps, Indians. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians. So anyway, I'm going to discuss some of the other problems that I have with the VA, and I sure would like to hear from other veterans about problems they might be experiencing. I suspect that at some point in time that I'm going to be filing another lawsuit against the VA, because seemingly that's the only way you get things fixed. You got to get the lawyers involved, and lo and behold, they fix things. And so we'll see how this all plays out going forward. And again, I look forward to any comments anybody has. You all have a great day. Stay safe. It is a crazy world out there, and Lord knows it gets crazier by the day. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Stay safe. Bye-bye.